Joseph leads the little donkey with Mary astride toward Bethlehem. His head swims. His mind tries to think what to do. If there's no room at the inn, I can't let her sleep out in the open fields. If the baby comes, I can't let her be exposed to the gawking eyes of strangers. Suddenly, Mary screams a piteous cry that stabs his heart. "Joseph!" He rushes to her side where she motions for him to lift her off the donkey. He holds her until the contraction passes, then he gently places her back on the donkey. She has been having small contractions for the last few hours, but hasn't said anything. Now she can no longer remain silent. "We must hurry, Joseph," she cries. "The pains are getting worse." Joseph's heart races as he steps up the pace, elbowing his way through the crowd and tugging hard on the reins attached to the exhausted donkey. "My wife is in travail," he cries, hoping for mercy, but the people grunt and shove and pay no attention. The sun is just beginning to drop toward the western hills as they reach the city gates. Then another contraction comes, but the press of teeming, sweating humanity leaves no room for Joseph to lift his beloved to a place of rest, enduring the pain on the back of a donkey. Once the pain passes, Joseph looks above the crowd and spies the inn. He tethers the donkey to a post, promising to return as quickly as possible. Fear grips him as he begs for a room. "Sorry, all full. Now move along, son." "Please, sir, my wife is in the throes of childbirth. We need a midwife in a private room," Joseph cries desperately. "Too bad. You'll have to sleep in the open field." "What's that?" breaks in the innkeeper's wife, coming into the room and catching the last bit of Joseph's plaintive cry. She looks at him with compassion. His face is strained, streaked with tears and dirt, and his eyes plead for mercy. "Did you say your wife is in childbirth? Abner, come now, we can surely find some place for them to have their baby in peace." The innkeeper rubs his brow and thinks. "There is a little cave on the hill which we use for a stable. I put some fresh straw in there this morning. If you'll build a fire, your wife will be warm and secluded from the stare of intrusive eyes. You're welcome to bed down there if you can endure the stench." "Oh, thank you, sir, but we also need a midwife. Can you send one to us? I can pay her whatever she wants." "Mercy me, son," the innkeeper's wife breaks in. "We would never be able to find a midwife at a time like this. But don't worry, the Lord will be with you. Here are plenty of rags and soap. You'll need them when you deliver the baby." Joseph's face drains and his mouth runs dry. "Me? Deliver the baby? But I'm a man and I know nothing of these things. And surely it's not proper for a man to look upon childbirth. Dear God, this is too much for a mere man." "Oh, please, ma'am, couldn't you help us?" "Sorry, son. Our inn is bursting at the seams, and the guests are clamoring for my help, but I'll bring some hot water as soon as I can. Here, young man, take this torch to light the way, as darkness is quickly falling. You can use it to help start a fire," says the innkeeper, his voice now soft with compassion. Wiping his brow, Joseph straightens his shoulders and returns to Mary, trying to look confident. "The inn is full, but I found a place, my darling, a warm little cave on the hillside. It will give us the privacy we need." "But Joseph, who will help me? I thought we had a midwife. Oh, I wish my mother were here." "Don't worry, my beloved. I will be with you," he says bravely. "And most of all, God is with us." Darkness has fallen now. By the time they find their way up the winding path to their humble abode on the hillside, the clear sky overhead glistens with starlight, but one dazzling star burns brighter, illuminating the path with streaming, almost supernatural light. It even seems to hover over the little cave.